we move on to react to Joachim Low. He is interested in the England job. According to reports, he has thrown his name in the hat in terms of interest in the England managerial position. So yeah, I'm yeah, it's gonna be that's a interesting topic of discussion. Very interesting topic of discussion, and whether or not England are actually going to even recognize this interest is a whole different conversation. But you know, it is a conversation. Number one, FA, the English FA, they have already confirmed that they're already working um, on appointing the next manager. According to reports, Joachim Low expressed interest in the vacancy after Southgate resignated. Joachim Low, he was the former manager of Germany. He was the manager of Germany from 2006 to 2021, a whopping 15 years. And he had a very successful run. He led the country to World Cup when they won in 2014 in Brazil. They're actually the first and only national team, a European team, to win a World Cup in South America. And they achieved that in a supreme fashion. And they're a brilliant team. They were a really brilliant team. He was a very good tactician throughout the tournament. There was a lot of things that he did that was criticized. He would play four center backs in the back in certain games. He was just a madman, a tactician madman. And he was brilliant. Even in 2006, when he was the assistant, 2006 World Cup, when he was the assistant coach for Joachim Low, for Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen Klinsmann was looked at as like the motivational, leader, the manager leader of the team, while Joachim Low was really the tactician, the main tactician. But yeah, he said to be happy to talk to the English Football Association since the resignation of Southgate. There was also reports that was revealed that Ange Postecoglou is on the list of candidates the FA are actually considering for the next England manager. There've also been other candidates linked with the job in terms of English candidates: Eddie Howe, Graham Potter. In terms of foreigners, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino. Um, but but to be honest, if you have to be honest, Tuchel and Klopp, they don't seem like realistic um, to be the manager of a England national team, especially with Klopp. Tuchel, maybe that's a little bit interesting. You talked about how he liked the English fans and the media and all that, and how it's better than Germany when he was in that interview talking when he was at Bayern. But does he want to take on the role of England national team? Does he want to, go away from the day-to-day of being a club football manager and become an international manager? Does he want that for himself as well? I don't think that's a realistic option. I think the fascinating thing about Joachim Low is a lot of these managers that are linked to this England role, they don't have any sort of international management experience, and I think it's very different in that you have less time to implement your system. It's different managing a tournament than managing a season, and it's just different. There's different natures to managing international teams compared to club teams. It's just completely different. And I think Joachim Low can do some good things for England. I think he got a reset that he needed. I don't think his style fell out of football or anything. I just think he was at Germany for too long, and it was just eventually time for it to end. And it looked rough near the latter years of his tenure at Germany, but you cannot forget the successful years that he had. And all good things eventually they come to an end, and I just think it ran its course at Germany. I don't think he's a bad manager or anything. But yeah, Joachim Low's actually his last game as a manager was stepping when he stepped down afterwards. This game was the Euro 2021 defeat where Germany actually lost to England at Wembley 2-0, and since then he has not worked. And yeah, it's it's gonna be interesting. Um, it's gonna be very very interesting to see if England actually really recognize this as a potential candidate, if they even go as far as speak with him. I don't know because it seems like England wants to go the path of developing coaches and wants someone that is English, that potentially went up and grew up in the St. George's system the way Gareth Southgate did, which would look at Lee Carsley as an option, who is their current U21 coach. But the problem with Lee Carsley is, well, I mean, he has no management experience at the senior level. I don't know how you can give him the reins of an England men's national team job with the level of expectation and the quality amongst this English team when the guy hasn't even managed at the senior level. Like, for me, that's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, but uh, but yeah, as far as Joachim Low, I definitely think England should definitely consider it. I definitely think they should talk to him. There's better options out there, you would say, but he's done. He's done. He has accomplished ultimately what what many what England want to do, and that's win a World Cup, to bring it home. He has accomplished that. This is a guy with the World Cup winning pedigree. So, if he has accomplished that, uh, if he has accomplished that, you have to look at him. You have to look at him. Now, the thing that it's tricky is there's not many managers that have won the World Cup twice as a manager. Obviously, what's his name? Didier Deschamps. He's won the World Cup as a player and a manager. But there has not been much managers that won the World Cup twice, so that makes it tricky in the fact that, he had his time, is maybe it's done, maybe you think from that logic, you know, managers didn't win World Cup twice. I believe the only one that did it was a Uruguayan manager, and he did it in like the 30s. Yeah, it was Vittorio Pozzo, and he's the only person that's won the World Cup twice as a manager, and he did it in 1934 and 38 with Italy. But that was at the same team and totally different time. Nowadays, you don't see managers win multiple World Cups as a manager. It's just something far fetched, and yeah, he's a, now from the reports he he's very interested in the job, so he seems like he thinks that he could do it, but I don't know, the quality is there, and I definitely think he's a major upgrade over Southgate in terms of tactically being a just in game. I think he's a better tactician than Gareth Southgate. I think in terms of squad selection and starting lineup selection and getting the best 11 players on the field and getting the best out of the talent, I think he's a much better option than Southgate, and I think they'll play a much more attractive style of football than Gareth Southgate. I really do think they'll be much more fun to watch, and they'll be open because German teams have been open, and those German teams under him were very open, but they're always open, German teams. But they're going to be extremely open and, vulnerable in counterattack, but they'll also be splendid going forward. The quality England has, oh my goodness. They'll be absolutely brilliant. What he could do with Cole Palmer and Trent and Saka and Bellingham, it just goes on and on. It'll be very fantastic to watch. So yeah, I think he should definitely be an option, and they should seriously consider him. And I think he's a better option than all the Graham Potters, the Lee Carsley now. Eddie Howe, that's a good one. That's a good manager too, and he's English, so that could give him the head-to-head over Joachim Low. But apart from that, I think Joachim Low might be one of their better options, honestly. But we'll see. The English FA, if they're serious national of FA, they'll at least interview him. They'll at least talk to him. The US, they're not a serious organization, so they don't even talk to managers that's deemed interest, managers that are much better than the managers they end up hiring. Talking about specifically, what's his name? Lepetegi. He showed interest, but they decided to go with Berhalter, and Berhalter turned out to be a fraud. So, yeah, sure.